I once saw a man cry in a biology lab. He wasn't dissecting anything, no frogs, no fetal pigs, just a wrinkled old textbook open to a chart tracing human evolution from primates to present. You know the one. Hairy ape, slightly less hairy ape, then boom, Steve from HR. Neanderthal to khakis and 6 frames. The man's hand shook as he stared. If this is true, he said, then everything I was taught in Sunday school is a lie. That was his line in the sand. His theological breaking point wasn't the problem of evil or hell or unanswered prayer. It was Lucy, the Australopithecus. I'm Theology Jack, your guide in exploring life's biggest questions and mysteries. So today, let's ask, can you be a Christian and still believe in evolution? Or is that like trying to do yoga while holding a Chick-fil-A sandwich? Spiritually impressive, but cosmically confusing. Okay, let's talk about the war we were handed, the one between faith and science. Not because it makes sense, but because it's the script we were given. Genesis versus Darwin, 6 days versus 4 billion years. Noah's Ark versus fossil records. Sunday school flannel graphs versus high school biology exams. It was staged like a cosmic death match. Choose a side, creator or chaos, Bible or beakers, God or a random roll of genetic dice. Somewhere along the line, believing in Jesus got tangled up with denying carbon dating. And for a lot of us, that tangled mess started to suffocate something holy. We were told the only way to love God was to ignore evidence. We were told the only way to trust the Bible was to distrust our brains. We were told doubt was a sin unless we were doubting scientists. And maybe worse of all, we were told that if evolution was real, then God was a lie. But here's the thing, that was never the actual fight. That's like saying the Bible is against telescopes or that Jesus would have refused to use penicillin. The real conflict isn't faith versus science. It's control versus curiosity. See, science asks, what can we observe? And religion, at its best, asks, what does it mean? But when religion tries to control meaning, it panics at mystery. And when science tries to eliminate meaning, it pretends mystery doesn't exist. Which brings us back to evolution, because if you're honest, it's beautiful, right? Not just the complexity, not just the physics, but the poetry of it. Stardust becoming cells, cells becoming creatures, creatures writing symphonies, falling in love, whispering prayers into the dark. Evolution isn't the enemy of wonder. It's a map of wonder written in mitochondria and time. But okay, deep breath. Let's go where the fight lives. Genesis. 6 days, a garden, a talking snake, and a man made from dirt. Is this science? No, and it never claimed to be. Genesis wasn't written by a biologist. It was written by ancient storytellers trying to say something true, not something empirically accurate. It's not a lab report. It's a protest poem. It's the Hebrew people whispering, in the beginning, love. See, Genesis wasn't competing with evolution. It was competing with Babylonian mythology, stories where humans were made from the blood of murdered gods, born to be slaves. And Genesis flips that script. It says, no, we were created on purpose, not out of violence, but out of care. The real message of Genesis isn't God made everything in exactly 144 hours. It's, you're not an accident. Creation is not a curse. And the divine is not far away. And if that's the heartbeat of the story, why are we still fighting about the timing? Maybe it's because timing gives us control. It lets us turn a sacred text into a checklist. It lets us pretend we've got it all figured out. But Genesis was never meant to be figured out. It was meant to be felt. And when you hold that sacred tension, evolution doesn't break the Bible, it breaks open the Bible. Suddenly, that dust of the earth line, that's not just poetic, that's elemental. We're literally made from the same stuff as stars. That divine breath, maybe it's not a one-time inhale, but an ongoing animation, God whispering into every atom, every adaptation, every evolutionary leap. And that garden, maybe it's not a geographical location we lost, but a posture that we're invited back into. Co-creation, stewardship, intimacy with the divine, even as we evolve. But okay, let's press into the real fear. If evolution is true, then are we just accidents? If we came from randomness, is there still purpose? And here's the plot twist. Evolution isn't pure randomness. It's order and chaos dancing together. It's randomness with boundaries. It's freedom with consequence. Sound familiar? It's the entire biblical story. From Genesis to Revelation, we see God creating space for choice, for change, for becoming. Not robotic predestination, not divine micromanagement, but an unfolding story where love isn't programmed. It's possible. So maybe evolution is the biological mirror of what open and relational theology has been saying all along. The future is open. God doesn't control every mutation, but God feels every extinction. God's love isn't a puppet string. It's a presence in the process. But here's where it gets raw. Because I remember being in college, reading about evolution and feeling like, well, the floor was going to crack under me. Like if Genesis didn't happen exactly as written, then maybe Jesus didn't either. Maybe it was all just myth. I called my dad, terrified. He said, if your faith can't survive a fossil, maybe it's not Jesus you believe in. It's certainty. That line wrecked me because he was right. I hadn't been worshiping God. I'd been worshiping a system, a tight, logical, doctrinal ecosystem where nothing could change because if one piece shifted, the whole thing collapsed. Evolution didn't break my faith. It revealed what my faith had become. A fortress, not a relationship. A checklist, not a mystery. And suddenly I had to decide, was I following a formula or a living God? That was the day I stopped asking if evolution was true. I started asking if love still was. And here's what I believe now. God's fingerprints are not only in the moments we call miracles, They're in every strand of DNA, in every generational ache toward beauty, in every creature that crawled, walked, flew, died, and made space for something new. The cross doesn't erase evolution, it embodies it. Sacrifice birthing resurrection. Love entering the mess. God joining the process, not skipping it. Maybe, just maybe, the resurrection is evolution's ultimate twist. Not survival of the fittest, but survival of the forgiven. A kingdom where grace outlasts dominance, where the last are first, where the story isn't over and we're not done becoming. So, can Christians believe in evolution? Wrong question. Here's a better one. Can your faith survive growing up? Can it survive mystery? Can it survive letting go of control? Because the God of Genesis isn't threatened by Darwin. The God of resurrection isn't afraid of deep time. And the God of love has been evolving us all along. Maybe not with puppets and blueprints, but with breath and risk and grace. So I'll leave you with this. Maybe the real danger wasn't evolution. Maybe it was the theology that told us our questions were sin. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading everything and might even include your ideas in a future video. And a quick reminder, click like just to be cool. And hey, if this is your kind of stuff, hit subscribe for more. It helps me so much. Let's map ideas that can change the world together. And thanks for watching till the end, fellow explorers. Stay curious and embrace the mystery. This is Theology Jack, signing off.